Hello, welcome. I'm Peggy. Thank you for tuning us in today. And as always, we'll try to give you some very helpful and good information, and we also have a phone number. And I don't know about you, but most of us make New Year's resolutions that we're going to do this or that or the other thing, and we're going to live a better way and be healthy. And sometimes that just kind of falls by the wayside. And we have somebody here who helps everybody stay well and look good and feel good. And I'm so glad to have you here. Kayla Anderson is here with me. Kayla's a native of the upstate, and she is a licensed, registered dietitian. And for about 2 years, she has been with the Life Center, which is part of the Greenville Hospital system.
Yes.
And as a dietitian, she helps people with all kinds of problems and living a more healthful lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a Bachelor of Science degree from Clemson University, and then she has completed her dietetic internship from DHEC in Columbia. And we just welcome you and thank you for sharing your expertise with us.
Thank you for having me.
I, like a lot of people, I thought you had to be a member of the Life Center before you could gain any of their information or help. Mm-hmm. And you tell me that isn't true at all.
No, not at all. So we do serve the Life Center members as some of their nutrition experts. So we're available for one-on-one counseling, group sessions, classes that they may be interested in. But we also serve as the outpatient registered dietitians for the whole healthcare system at GHS. So we're available for doctor referrals in order to submit to insurance if you would like to come for a one-on-one and submit that to your insurance, or we can see people out of pocket just from the community that are interested. So anyone and everyone's welcome.
So you have an outreach to everyone, that, mm-hmm. regardless of the Life Center.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's very nice to know. And I guess a lot of us, we're all guilty of saying, well, I'm going to do better next year. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do this or that. And of course, it isn't always so easy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you see people for health reasons and people who just want to look better. Mm-hmm. I mean, after all, we're heading into this time of year where people will be putting on bathing suits and all. People think, I need to lose a few pounds. I need to look better. So you do it all.
We do it all. We're kind of the catch-all. So we are not the structured program like we have a diabetes self-management program at GHS, which is also out of the Life Center. We have cardiac rehab for those people with cardiovascular disease. But our office sees anything and everything. So we see people for the management of diseases or maybe gastrointestinal disorders if that affect their eating. But we also see many, many people that just want to lose weight, whether that's from a health management standpoint or just looking and feeling better.
And in other words, if someone were diabetic,
mm-hmm.
you could counsel them,
mm-hmm.
and it's like management, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You manage what you eat.
Mm-hmm. Managing that disease set with your food, with your diet to set you up for the best management possible of that, to be less symptomatic and not have any complications.
Now I want you to talk a little bit about this organic.
Okay.
Every time we pick up something at the grocery store almost, it's become almost laughable. Everything is all natural. All the people who manufacture anything to eat, you'll find it it's all natural. Mm-hmm. And you have to say to them, what does that really mean? And that's very different from being organic. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people buy something in good faith that it's all natural, and they think they're getting something they're not. Mm-hmm. Could you explain that?
Sure. All natural actually is a very loosely regulated term by the FDA. So the FDA regulates all those health claims that appear on the front of our boxes of manufactured foods. All of that packaging is all marketing. So what you really need to take a look at, and what I encourage all of my patients to do, is turn it over and look at that label. Look at the ingredients list, because that's how you know what you're getting.
So just because something says all natural, you have to turn it over, and then law says they have to list the ingredients.
Yes. My recommendation is you want the shortest ingredients list as possible. That means you're getting more nutrient density instead of a bunch of fluff that the manufacturers add to make that product what it is.
Because after all, they're in the business of making money and selling.
They are not out for your health. I am out for your health.
Okay, okay. So these people that manufacture cereal, for instance, you know, it'll be on the front all natural, and you think you're buying something really great for your children.
Sure.
And you have to read those labels. Now, when you read a label, Kayla, what do you look for?
Well, it depends. That's kind of highly individualized, you know, for what the patient's looking for, or what any client's looking for. That can be, you know, if they're trying to lose weight, calories are certainly important, because that's going to go into their energy balance in terms of setting them up with a deficit to want to lose weight. Likewise, if they're wanting to gain weight. If it's someone with cardiovascular disease, you want to take a look at the fat grams. Their dietary sources of fat matters. If it's a diabetic, then maybe the sugar and the carbohydrates are more important. But certainly that ingredients list, the recommendation across the board is making sure that that's as low as possible, so you're getting more whole foods rather than processed.
You're looking for not much salt. I mean, you want to see how much sodium is
Yes, sodium's important
sugar.
too.
And so if you take a minute and look at these labels, you can't believe what's on there. Because the amount of salt and sugar can be distressing.
Well, what tastes good? Salt,
I guess.
sugar, fat. That's what we find in our restaurants, and that's what we find in our processed foods a lot of times, an overage of that, more than we need.
Okay, so if somebody comes to you who is diabetic or with the heart disease, you can help them break down what they really need and what they need to do without. If a doctor says you need to cut back on your salt, and we hear that a lot now.
Absolutely.
That's not easy to do.
Or how much do I need to cut back? What are the sources of it where I'm getting those from? Do I get that from mainly foods that I eat out, or do I get that from things that I'm choosing in the grocery store? So that's what I can help with, is recognizing those sources, identifying where we can make some swaps.
Okay. You can make changes in your own kitchen, but you have no control when you go to a restaurant of what's in, as far as the salt and the sugar and all that. You have no control over that.
So that's why it's hard to manage those things when you're relying heavily on eating out or dining out. I always tell people portion control is really your best friend when you're eating out. Those portions are largely, you know, too large. So, you know, the best idea is to go ahead and get a to-go box. Put half your meal in there. You know you're getting more than you should. And that way, when you cut down the portion, you are cutting down on the sodium and the fat and the sugar that you're getting from that. So portion control really comes into play because you're not in charge of the ingredients at the groceries or at the restaurant.
I'm going to bring it up.
Okay.
What about these fast food places? And we see, you know, people lined up. Unfortunately, people's lifestyle, they don't have time to come home and do a lot of fresh vegetables and things if they've worked all day. Maybe it's a mother working, and she has a family to feed. How do you find the solution to this?
I think we're predominantly busier than we used to be. And I think that, you know, people can rely on that a good bit. We're all running around. We don't stop 20 to 30 minutes for our meal times even to give ourselves time to feel satiated after we get done with the meal. But in that busy culture, I think that, you know, have some things with you. It's pretty convenient to have fresh fruit with you. It doesn't spoil, you know, within a couple of days. You can have that always in your car or at your office.
Apples, for instance.
An apple, bananas, you know, a little baggie of grapes. Do that. Have some baby carrots or celery, sugar snap peas. You can do all of that raw. get a sandwich if you want to go out, but then don't have the side, don't have the French fries or the extra sauce or all of those things. If you don't need, you're not adding condiments and stuff to those additives, and you know that you're getting at least a healthy component, and then a sandwich that's probably more calories than you would have from a sandwich at home, but at least you're doing yourself a service and knowing that it's a little more balanced with some fruits and vegetables.
And so you can help people, like, form a daily
meal plan.
Like you follow a roadmap.
Absolutely.
A meal plan for the whole day.
I usually start kind of broad and help people figure out how much they need, and then we hone in on certain concepts of what they need to pay attention to most according to their whatever's affecting them. And it can be as simple as, they may not have anything affecting them. They're just looking for weight loss, or they're looking for sports performance, and we can talk about some things that can add in. They can add in within that context of how much they need for the day.
Okay, now we have a phone number, which is 864-455-4041, and we'll keep that up there, and that is the Life Center. And Kayla does help people with all kinds of problems, and also maybe you just want to lose weight, and there is a way to do it, and it isn't painless, but it can happen. We'll be right back.